What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. I'm solo today. Well, not technically. Rob's here with me, but always. Marissa was in here. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, so I kind of threw off our schedule. I had that glucose test this morning. That was kind of shitty. You go in fasted, right?
Is this the one that checks for diabetes?
Yeah, it's the one that checks for diabetes, but it was also very sucky because... like you're hungry. I had to be there at 8. So that means I got up at 6 to get ready and then leave. Cause you know, with traffic, you just can't kind of like, you know, risk leaving late. And so, anyway, I was there before the people who work there and I got there at 7:50.
So you got up early.
Yeah. I was up at 6:15. Yeah. And I'm not morning guys. I'm 8 a.m. I'm an 8 a.m.er. I'm definitely not anything before that. I'm not a 6 a.m.er. Like, that's why that whole thing with like how they say like get up real early to have your alone time for yourself, like get up real early. It's hard for me to do because I just don't. I'm not going to function the rest of the day if I get up that early. But if I get up at 8, I'm fine. That's like
that's the cutoff.
That's my cutoff. 7 is still kind of rough for me.
I was going to say try 7, not even an hour.
7 is rough still for me. I've never been a morning person anyway. Never. My sister has always been. I've just never been a morning person. Like she'll be up by 5:36. She's good to go. I'll be like, oh my God. 7 is still too early. 8 is just right for me.
There's something about getting up early and going and doing stuff and realizing there's still a lot of people that ain't out doing stuff.
Yes. That's kind of how I was today. I was like, okay, you're supposed to be here already. It's 7:50. Why are you still not opening the office yet? I'm all like mad about it. I'm like, the doctor must not be here for y'all not to, you know, be open yet. But I shouldn't be complaining because I'm about to say a happy quote. But anyway, our quote for today, guys, is happy are those who take life day by day, complain very little, and are thankful for the little things in life. So... I try not to complain, but I did this morning because I was just like, oh, I had to make the effort to be here this early in the morning. Why didn't you, you know?
Were they late?
Yeah, I mean, they opened right at 8.
Oh.
So it's like the door literally clicked open at 8. I mean, like I said, I saw the employees walk in versus I was already waiting outside, like in the hallway for them to get there. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, did I just get here before the employees? I was like, okay. Before we get started, guys, just want to give you a little heads up. Tomorrow, actually tonight at midnight, to be honest with you, we will drop new merch. I thought this would be a good time to drop the Échale Ganas design again, simply because I think everybody's at a time where you need nothing but motivation. And if you could just have a little reminder to Échale Ganas. Hold on, guys. I'm messing with this chair.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, then the next step is getting comfortable chairs for you.
I already got I want these chairs from Amazon, but it's 2 chairs and I want that table right there in the middle. But I don't want to get rid of that couch. I almost want to make it my pop-up couch.
Oh, right.
So...
are you going to have a trailer? Are you going to have like your own thing eventually? You think?
I don't know. Hopefully. And that'll go in there.
Just live in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
but then you have to have somewhere to put the trailer.
Exactly. So not there yet. But going back to the merch drop, guys, it'll be Wednesday. So you guys get this episode on Wednesday. We record the day before, like you guys know. So it'll be up already by the time you guys listen to this. It's the Échale Ganas. We do have the shirt and the trucker hat. I wanted to make one item that was unisex. The first time that I dropped the Échale Ganas design was the luxury parody, and I had only hoodies, and I made them unisex because I wanted it to be for male and female. This time around, I did the female shirt and then a trucker hat. So it's not just for men; it's for women too. But I just wanted to make one item that was unisex versus, you know, just that item that was unisex. So I wanted to have a little bit more of a female cut versus a male cut. But I know I'm going to hear some males ask me why I didn't make this in their cut. So I'm waiting for it. 'Cause it's her
brand.
Right. So I'm just going to wait for it till someone complains and I'll be like, okay, but it's a perfect Father's Day gift also. So if you're already shopping, guys, that's one for you to get there. And then the pop-up did get canceled. So for all those that DM me, I know I should have posted something. I'm sorry. It did get canceled or postponed. I'm sorry, not canceled, because of the rain. We've been having some crazy weather here. What is up with that?
All week too. It's just today's the only day it's not gonna rain. It's gonna rain every other day after today.
I thought today too, though. Did it change?
It changed. Yeah, it just kind of pushed it to the next day. But yesterday was like sunshine, and then boom.
I had to go pick up Penny because Luisa took her to go to the little jumpy place with her grandkids. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to drive in this mess. I'm like, oh.
I hate driving in the rain.
Same. I drive like grandma's goodies in the rain. Like legit, both hands on the steering, grandma's goodies. What the fuck? Like slow, like just grandma's goodies. Yeah.
When you say grandma's goodies, I'm thinking of something else.
No, not that kind of goodies.
What are you talking about?
No. I mean, I drive real slow. Like, don't even dare call me because I'm not answering your call. Like, I don't care.
Do you ever put your phone on Do Not Disturb when you're driving?
I don't. I should.
Where it sends them that automated message like, hey, I'm driving.
My mom has that.
Yeah.
My mom has that. And unless you call...
Like three times, yeah.
Then it'll click in. But
with as much stuff that you have come through sometimes, I'm like, you probably should.
Yeah, I don't. I probably should. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I don't. But yesterday I was like, I'm not taking no one's call. Nobody better call me. And then, of course, my mom calls me. My grandfather passed away yesterday.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my mom's dad. I feel bad for her. But I didn't grow up with him, if that makes sense. So it's not like, I'm not sad. I'm sad for my mom. Does that make sense? Because I know what it's like to lose your dad, you know? But I was like, okay, I feel bad that I'm not like crying or anything, you know? But it wasn't.
Did you think about our podcast on Friday? We're like, my mom only calls me to tell me bad news. Yeah.
It was funny because she never really calls like past 9:30ish because she knows that's around the time Penny is already in bed. And like I said, she usually only calls to talk to Penny. And so she called me and I thought, oh my God, something must be wrong, you know? Like.
What time was it?
It was already about to be 10. And like I said, even if it's to call to give me like gossip about somebody else, it's before 9:30, if that makes sense. So it's never that late. So I got kind of scared. I was like, you okay? She goes, well, I just got the call and your grandfather passed away today. And I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry, Mom. And so she took off last night. They bury him today. She's literally coming back tomorrow. Wow. So it's like in and out for her. So she's just, he was already sick. My grandfather was almost 87 years old. So, and my mom's mom is still living. She's about 85. So
wow.
I told my mom, I was like, you know, your parents are, you know, and I think for my grandfather, because he was so active, the fact that he's diabetic, he fell and then he couldn't be as mobile as he was before. So it's almost like he became stubborn and depressed where he didn't want to eat anymore. So he was closing his mouth, like doing that so that he couldn't get any food in him. So she's like, I think my dad was ready to go. She's like, I don't think he wanted to deal with this anymore. Like he was annoyed that he couldn't move, you know. It's going to sound braggy, but I mean, it's just the facts. My grandfather owns a bunch of properties in Mexico. And so it's like land, like I'm talking about, like where like Indians fought, like that. I think that I have a tattoo of the Tichuaclan Indians, and they fought on that tribe fought on his land, and so my grandfather comes from that, so he inherited all that. So his routine every morning was to get up and go check on all his properties. That was his routine, and he'd be gone for a long time because he'd either pick, you know, fruit or, you know, just whatever, clean it up. So that's how he stayed active. And if you know anybody like that, it's like when they're not able to do those things, they like start to get depressed. My dad's dad, I feel like that happened to him too. When he retired, instead you would think he'd be like, hell yeah, this is on, you know? No, instead it was like he became depressed. And then he started going to work with my dad. And then my dad passed. And then that was like, it was like two things at once, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of interesting. I was like, it's weird how people like it, I don't know if that's like just an active thing or a Hispanic male thing. Like when you're just used to being so active and then it just kind of stops for you.
I guess I could see that being both things.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So that happened. But the pop-up got moved to May 30th. So if you're in Houston, guys, come out and visit us. I don't really know how I got sidetracked with my grandfather.
I was gonna laugh, but I was like, this is what I'm talking about. The wrong time to laugh.
I'm like, oh my God.
So yeah, that happened. So the pop-up.
So back to the pop-up. I'm telling you, I'm everywhere. It was that no eating. I was like, is this even safe for a pregnant woman to
Is
be
that why
without
Chingo
food?
was fasting too? He was like, I'm trying to fast for
He was trying to do it because of we saw Dana Lynn Bailey. Let me get through these things real quick, and then we'll go back to that.
6 weeks shredded.
Yeah, right. So May 30th, guys, if you're in Houston, please stop by the pop-up. I'd love for you guys to stop by. I'd love to meet you guys, even if you're just a listener. Don't forget, we do have the live podcast scheduled for June 16th. I will have more information. I promise you. Promise, by our second podcast. Marissa's coming in. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to start reaching out to vendors who want to participate. So if you're listening and you're in Houston and you can offer some kind of service and you'd like to be able to be a part of it, we are looking for sponsors to provide, whether it be if you have like a balloon thing, or, you know what I'm saying, or you decorate, or you offer some kind of service, cookies, cake, whatever it is, let me know. Reach out to us at herloungepodcast@gmail.com, and we can chat further. And then we'll be in Corpus Christi this weekend for Chingo's comedy show. So if you're a listener in Corpus, stop by. There's 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday. And then the infamous Shell Shock CBD, guys. If your man's not rubbing up on you, he may now. So anyhow, shellshockcbd.com. Use promo code Mariswole. Guys, I promise you, I'm not just saying that. They really are awesome. Like, I wish I wasn't pregnant right now.
True.
Because I could use like one of those nights of just knocking out then not just waking up refreshed. Because he wakes up refreshed.
I wasn't trying to be rude when my soul was sat down. I was like, I don't want to be rude, but you look like you're wearing the day already. It's only 1. But early morning, I can understand.
Yeah, man. It creeps up on me. What were we talking about?
The intermittent fasting. He saw DLB.
I loved you guys. If you guys don't know who Dana Lynn Bailey is, go to YouTube one day and just look her up. If I sound winded, it's because I am. Jeez, I feel like I'm breathing hard. Oh my gosh.
You're like listening to yourself.
I can hear myself. That's why it is. It's crazy because he told me today, he's like, I'm only 28 weeks, right? But I'm measuring 32.
Damn.
So that's really big. Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like that pushes my uterus up higher. So my diaphragm to be able to breathe is just shorter. So anyway, so Dana Lynn Bailey, guys, for those that you don't know, when I first started to kind of get into wanting to do a bodybuilding competition, I'm really weird when it comes to my workouts. I don't like looking at other female workouts. I think a lot of times as females, we just kind of focus on one area of our body, which is usually the legs and the butt. So there's a gazillion workouts for females to grow the glutes, grow the legs, grow the glutes, the booty buster. And at the time, I wasn't really into that. Not saying because, I have a big butt or big legs, but I hate to say this, but that's not my hard part for me to develop muscle. If I focus on it, it's just my legs don't take, my lower body just doesn't take much effort. It's my upper body. I'm smaller at the top. I don't hold my muscle like, you know what I'm saying, once I start to shred. So for me, it was always like I could never find female bodybuilders. And I came across Dana Lynn Bailey. And I was like, who is this person? Like, I instantly became obsessed with her. And guys, not because I aspired to look like her, because that's not my body type. I don't want to look like that. It's her damn discipline for me. It's her discipline, her dedication, her workout routines, like all that stuff for me it was legit. Like sometimes I was telling people, even now I'm pregnant, when I got to go to the gym by myself, I legit will only watch the intro to her vlogs or her workout. That's all I need. And that's seriously, I won't even watch the whole thing, but I'll be listening to it on the way to the gym. I just need the intro, just what it says. Dana Lynn, when they're announcing her, she's coming out on the Arnold, on stage. That's how much of a fan I am. I even went to her camp right before starting my prep. I wanted some kind of motivation. That's how I work. That's how I am. I need someone who's better than me, who is like, that's why I say I don't know why how you can be a hater when you see someone doing better than you. Because for me, that's like straight motivation. Like I've got to see that firsthand. Like I got to see it in front of my face. Like that's why going to Magnolia to see Joanne Gaines, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that for me are just like, I have got to see it for myself, So I went to her camp. It was during Halloween time. Like it was my birthday gift to myself. It was in October. And she was also like that's when she used to have the Warehouse gym at their place where they used to live.
Have you seen the construction of the new place?
Yes.
Dope.
It's so pretty. It's not even like badass. It's like almost pretty. It's almost like Magnolia pretty. They went all out and did like the black trim. I was like, are y'all gonna, I even left a comment, like a little groupie. I said, are y'all gonna do a tour inside? And they replied, I don't know who replied from Flag Nor Fell, but someone replied and said, yeah, we're gonna do a YouTube video. I'm like, I can't wait. And it's things like that. People that I see like they like History, they started off with $400 to start off their their apparel business. And obviously they push hard on the social media. I mean, he's got a team, they've built it, and they're just a really good team.
This is totally random, but kind of on subject. I was looking up his name, Bob Ciccirillo, the announcer, the guy that announces for Mr. Olympia. I met him one time, and it was just a weird thing because he's like the voice. It's like meeting Bruce Buffer, the announcer for the UFC, or his brother that does Are You Ready to Rumble? And I was like, I kind of nerded out for a second. I was like, oh shit, this is like the guy that I've heard so many call so many names.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's little things like that. Even like so when I hear that, when she comes out and she just kind of like puts her hand up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a motherfucker. What is his song that they play?
The Rob Bailey
song.
I'm a beast.
And I'm just like, yes, I'm a motherfucking beast. I'm going to this gym right now. I'm DLB. I'm going to be DLB one day. And then it's like, okay, I'm at the gym now. Thank you, DLB, for my little motivation. I really don't want to look like you, but it's to admire. I don't care what anybody says, guys. I know that it's like, oh, but you think differently about plastic surgery, so why is this fair? So when someone tells me that she juices, I was like, don't tell me that. I refuse to believe it.
I think we had this conversation a couple years ago.
I refuse to believe it. And I remember it was my friend Jason. We were working out together, and she had just brought out like their first line of supplements. And so obviously, being the groupie that I am of DLB, big fan, like I have her autograph. Like I used to keep her poster on the refrigerator. It used to be on the refrigerator. It was autographed by her. Like that's how hardcore DLB fan I am. I just think when you have that much discipline, and she, I have all her magazines too that she's been in. Like that's,
dude. I'm also, that's how we also on the many levels we bond. But I had her cover for she was like one of the MHP sponsored athletes, and I had that as my screensaver for a while.
It's weird because everybody's like, ew, right? She's so manly. For me, it's a little bit different than the physique. To me, it's like the mental discipline, because I was watching her day one yesterday. That's where that came about, why Pete was like doing intermittent fasting. I tried. I'm just not. I can't. I have to have breakfast in the morning. Like I have to.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. I tried. I really did. I just couldn't. I've tried it on 2 occasions, and I know I should probably give it a third try.
But especially it's just, not right now when you're pregnant.
Yeah, not right now, obviously. But for me, intermittent fasting is just like, no, I can go without lunch. I don't care for lunch or dinner. But breakfast for me is super duper like
Is it the food? Is it the ritual? Is it?
I think it's both.
Okay.
Breakfast food for me is my favorite.
I can have breakfast food for dinner.
Yes.
And sometimes we do.
I love breakfast food. Like, excuse me, like sometimes when we'll be out of town and it'll be like 10:30 and we're probably just now eating because we just kind of maybe went to Starbucks and just had coffee first. Pete will be like, well, there's blah, blah, blah. And it's like lunch. I'm like, it's 10:30. Like, this is not lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, IHOP? Yeah. I was like, I need breakfast. He's like, but it's almost 11. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, we're not skipping breakfast. Like, that's the one. I don't care for lunch and I don't care for
dinner.
I can do whatever for dinner. Like, if it was even a snack, I'd be fine. That's why it was always hard for me during prep for me to finish my last meal, which was dinner. So I was pretty much done. I didn't really care for it, and I really just don't. But something about Dana Lynn Bailey, and I'm sure she has her struggles too. She's, but I hated it when people would tell me that she juices. But even if she does, she's still disciplined.
For sure.
She's still disciplined. She still works. She still puts in the work. I don't know how much she juices, right? Obviously not enough to make her face look manly because she still has a feminine face. I don't feel like she still has that super cut jaw yet, like her competitor who won. Julia, I forgot that girl's name.
Yeah.
I thought her jaw was too cut for me. It was like, okay, you probably should, whatever you're taking should kind of back off a little bit because you're getting that jaw that makes you look a little bit too manly. You know what I'm saying? So
I know it's super inside baseball for those that don't know who DLB are, but I hope you go look her up. But I remember reading an article that had made a good point was her gums, the progressiveness of like how big her teeth got in her gum. Like saw more of her gums was like the side effects of a particular, androgen or something. And I was like, oh, maybe. But I do know some girls growing up that just had a lot of, that had a gummy mouth, So
that's true. Yeah. I don't know if it is true or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go more with now that I understand the body, right? Because when I was first beginning, I didn't really know, and I hadn't gone to become any type of personal trainer. Like I hadn't gone through any of that. I know that it takes. Now, if she was as big as she is right now, right? And it has gradually gone like that, right? Then I would have been like, oh, that's possible because it's been so many years. You finally got there. Now that is possible if you are natural. It's probably going to take you about a good 15 years. To get where she is right now, naturally. And even then, you might not get that roundness in the shoulders for us females. We're just not really cut like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard for us. So now that I understand it, I know that what is that called? Clen? Mm-hmm. That's what I think she's probably on, just because she still looks, she stays so shredded, and she's so feminine. Still, she still looks feminine in the face.
Yeah, and she was a rock star as a younger person. She was like a soccer star, I think, in college.
She was a soccer star in college. Yes, I mean, she was a teacher before.
Athlete.
She's always been athletic. Even she competed bikini at the beginning. Mm-hmm. That's what's crazy. That's where it shocks me. That's why I'm saying, like, you have got to gradually, like this, like I said, if this is the body that she had right now and it just started happening now, I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, she's been working at it all these years. You know what I'm saying? And then your diet would have to be crazy too to be able to get that big. I mean, we're talking about you'd probably be eating like The Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to get that way. But for those of you who are like, what is she talking about? I know the bodybuilding world is really interesting, and it's
this is the Fitspo episode.
Yeah, it's really complicated, but it's really a cool thing. I'm going to say for me, when I was doing bodybuilding competitions, I should post that picture. I should probably use that picture as the intro to this video. But I took a picture the morning I woke up with abs. I got up and because, you have to take progress pictures, right? And so I got up and I said, oh, what? I was like, is that me in the mirror? Like, finally, this frustration of food, this frustration of like watching other people enjoy their meals. And I'm sitting there with my little packaged meal, that I cooked the night before. It's not even fresh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my God, I'm so jealous of you, But then I stopped being jealous of people. Like, it was just kind of like, so you don't look like me. So yeah, it's gotta suck to be you. You should probably not eat that food. Then I went through that. And I think I did that to try to psych myself out so that I wouldn't feel like, oh, I hate this. Mm-hmm. I just want to eat cheese. You know what I'm saying? I just want to eat something that doesn't have to be measured, I can look at something now and tell you if it's 3 ounces or not. Like, I know, like, I can tell you like, oh, you should probably scrape like a few little things off and it'll be, you know what I'm saying? That'll be 3 ounces. But, I never forget that morning I woke up and I had abs, and I just remember thinking, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make it. Wow. Like, I can't believe this. And then I just remember feeling like, this is pretty fucking cool, man. Our bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
Our bodies do amazing things. Like, not even, in addition to like the fact that we create a child, right? Like that's amazing. This is also amazing because it's like you're growing this little muscle, and then it just like with time it just starts to pop out and you see the definition, and it was just pretty cool. And I just told Pete, I'm like, sometimes I hate watching her because I feel like I'm not breastfeeding after I have this baby. I'm not. I just want to be back. I want to go back to being fit. And I already told Pete, like, it's like I'm going to try my hardest to meal prep and have more protein and good carbs set so that I can still produce the milk. I'm hoping I don't struggle like I did with Penny. I really am hoping. I'm getting with the lactation consultant just to ask her if there's like supplements. I just want to chat with her if there's something that I can do prior to help me, because that's the reason why I couldn't just go on a diet immediately. Like,
so I got to ask, and I love that we're talking about this because Dawn and I, and we barely touched on it when she was here, are like, we've gone through these phases. Like, she's obviously competed. She's been on stage. She went from having twins to looking fantastic with a six pack. And it's just not blaming it all on 2020 and not blaming it all on, just life events. But that takes a toll on a lot of people's bodies, and they just can't do it, right? So my goal and her goal is like to get into one of the best shapes we've been in this year, right? So we're on that road or whatever, and you learn a lot of things going in and out of those goals, those journeys. So for you, how was it with food, the relationship with food? Because you just said like you couldn't just go on a diet, and even the word diet, like we have to get rid of that word.
Yeah, for sure.
It has to be a lifestyle change and an understanding of what you and food are, like who you are together. How was it for you? Is it that it's fuel, or was it at the time that like I'm doing this because of the competitions, or did you already kind of understand how they work synergistically?
Okay, so for me, prior to that, I just did calorie counting.
Like that was your strategy.
My thing. That was my strategy. And then I realized that that's not how it works. You can't just calorie count. You have to have an egg. I guess in a way it still is calorie counting, but I just needed to know. I don't understand macros, if that makes sense. I think it's really hard. And I know it's easy because it's been broken down to me, right? And I can figure it out for somebody else. Is that not weird? But for myself, I need somebody else to do it. It's too much work for me. I can fix somebody else. I can help somebody else. It makes me feel good that I'm helping somebody else, right? But when it's for me, I need someone else to tell me. And that's when I realized I needed to find somebody to help me with that, because it wasn't going to be, okay, so I had chicken, broccoli, and rice, but you can only do chicken, broccoli, and rice for so long. And it's funny because DLB said that yesterday before you hit a plateau. And it's exactly right. Your meals cannot be that way.
No, you have to have some foods you enjoy in the mix. So, okay, let me ask you this then. Going into post-baby this time, are you going to go back to finding somebody to do that for you, or are you going to rather take the step in the direction of learning how to really macro count for yourself?
No, I still need it.
Yeah,
I'm still not. I naturally have an inner fat girl in me.
No, I understand. Trust me, I understand.
I do. Like, you know what I'm saying. And to be honest with you, for me, it is not food. For me, it's pastries.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And not even cakes. To me, it's like breads. Did you see the Common Bond box there? I went there for their morning. I forgot what their little bun is called. It's almost like a churro bun. So good. Excuse me. And yesterday I had to go that way to go pick up our merch that's, you know what I'm saying, that was just finished. And so I was like, oh, he's not there yet. Common Bond's right here. Let me go get me some. They didn't have any. She goes, but we have these. And it's just like, okay, you're about to do the glucose thing tomorrow. Why would you eat this today? You know what I'm saying? So it's like little things. My thing was pastries. My thing is pastries. I love pastries. Is
that a Libra thing too? God damn.
I don't know. I love pastries. I love little things like that.
Like and Danishes.
So, yes.
Yes. Cream cheese Danish.
Yes. That's my favorite at Starbucks.
Bro,
that's
me
my
too.
Coffee and that together.
Dude.
And listen, it has to be the right amount of bite to coffee ratio.
Dude, they're so dumb. That weird, so ridiculous. There's a Empire Cafe. Have you ever been there?
No.
It's like catty corner to Common Bond.
Well, I go to the Common Bond on Shepherd, not the one we went to.
Oh.
So there's another one. It's a smaller one.
Right.
And so that's the one I went to.
Right. We did have a creative meeting there one time. So the Empire Cafe is either across the street or like two streets over. Bro, their breakfast and their pastries.
Really?
I'm surprised you've never been.
I haven't. No. I really try to stay away from it. When I prep to discipline, I really have to stay away from everybody and everything.
Well, yeah, because they're all distractions and like bad influences.
It's awful. And it's like, I'm easily like, come on, it's not going to be like, I prepped y'all and it was my sister's wedding. I don't know how I didn't eat. any of the food, and I didn't taste the cake. I was the person cutting the cake, and I was just looking at it, and I said,
"Ooh, wedding cake."
And I just kept thinking to myself, and she had an Italian wedding cake, so good. And the only reason I know is like I kept praying that a little bit of the frosting would fall on my finger, and I said, please let it touch my finger. I just wanted to touch my finger real quick, and it did. And I just licked it, and it was like, that's all I needed. I just needed that. I'm the same way though with pastries too.
Bro, I used to chew it and spit it out.
What?
Yeah. Like I have pictures somewhere in a hard drive where I got in really good shape when I was in college because I went from 280 to like 180.
Wow.
Yeah, but again, not knowing anything, just counting calories, doing a lot of cardio, and not understanding the macro buildup of okay, do you remember, because off the top of my head, every calorie, protein, carbs, and fats, there's 9 calories in 1 gram of fat, I believe, and 4 calories in a gram of protein and carb. So that's how you come to your calculations. If a piece of chicken has 100 calories, okay, how many grams of protein? Well, there's 4 times that many grams for the calories. So you have to do figure all that out, right? But back then it was like, nah, but if I wanted a brownie, dude, I used to chew that shit up and spit it out in the trash can like a psychopath.
No, I never got that hardcore, but I got to the point where I make my salsa, and I dip the broccoli in it as like a chip in salsa, but it was broccoli and salsa.
I used to do that with the other one, cucumber.
Oh, okay. I had to figure something out because it was like I needed to trick my brain. After a while, guys, those same meals just are not fun, And
it's an eyelash on the.
I feel it.
Yeah,
okay.
got it.
And I just I felt like I'd always feel like, oh my God, I can't wait till my menu changes. How many more weeks do I have to be on this menu? You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, and I think that's what would motivate me to make sure that there was change in my body, so that she would change my menu. Yeah. So I'd be like, man, if there's no change in my body, she's going to keep this damn same menu, and there's only so much I can handle, of this, and so it was like, but I was watching her, and I just told Pete, I hate sometimes watching her because I feel like I don't want to breastfeed. I just want to be selfish and work on myself right after this baby, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of like let my body heal. And the minute I'm ready to go, I would love to just kind of like, I saved every menu that I ever got from all the years that I competed. And so the reason why I did that is my nutritionist Christine, who you know, which I didn't know she wasn't doing anymore.
No, I didn't either.
I referred someone, and they said that she referred him to Karen.
Oh, it's funny. Karen's, she's getting ready to prep for the December Texas Cup. I think it is here in town.
So I'm referring him now to Karen because I had no idea. Someone told me like, hey, your nutritionist isn't doing nutrition anymore. I was like, what? No. Weird. So I don't know what happened there. I haven't reached out to her, but
now's your chance to do it on your own.
Right. I know, it's my chance. And it's crazy because I kind of made a living doing that with the personal training. And so I told Pete, I was like, you know what's going to get me there again is training and doing that again, training people and getting them ready again. I told him, I said, that's how I'm going to get in the mode again, because whenever I was teaching Zumba, whenever I did personal training, I knew that I had to look a certain way for people. I work this way. Maybe other people don't. Maybe other people prefer for their trainer to look the same as them. But to me, I don't know why you would want your trainer to look the same as you, right? But I've met a lot of women who I've intimidated because of the way that I looked, especially during prep time. I can honestly say off the top of my head, I know 3 ladies who on our first little meet, I never heard back from them.
Like again, the consultation was
too intimidating for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like,
and that's something maybe you can add into the Patreon that we're building, is like something like this health and wellness aspect of it.
Pete suggested that. He said, you said you want to get back into it, so maybe this is what, and it keeps me motivated. It keeps me healthy, and
it keeps you accountable.
It keeps very much so, because I have to be an example for all these women that you train. You just can't, like, you have to look the part.
Yeah.
Even if you're just a thin trainer, to me, I'm not motivated by you.
Yeah.
I need to see a little bit of definition on you, something on you to where I feel like.
And that's a whole other thing, right? It's like the training style of what you want your body to look like, and then the eating style of what you want your body to look like. So I was right too. I remembered it correctly. It's four calories per gram of protein and 4 calories per gram of carbs and 9 calories per gram of fat. So what's your favorite? Let's do this real quick and fuck it. Since we're so far deep into this conversation, what's your favorite pastry? Was it the Danish? Or is it a brownie? Or is it...
empanada de piña.
Empanada? Okay, we're just going to do empanada. So, you know, people might... Because you want to... I would guess that you want to keep some of these foods in your diet when going forward. You don't want to eliminate empanadas and Danishes forever, especially on the road. How hard it is to stick to those menus you guys used to have, right?
Christine used to do pretty good to where she made it easy. So where it was
good.
like, go get this breakfast sandwich at Starbucks, then you go to McDonald's and you eat. I used to get to have French fries with a salad. Is that not crazy?
I do remember.
I remember French fry with
yeah.
salad. Is that not crazy?
All right, empanada calories here. An average empanada is about 300 calories.
There you go.
Okay, 16 grams of fat, 10 grams of protein, and 28 grams of carbohydrates. So that's how you would get the 299 calories. So if if you had one more thing you could eat for the day, let's say it was dinner, you had already finished all of your calories. This is for listeners as well. And you're like, man, I got 300 calories, but I need to hit 10 grams of protein. I need to hit 28 grams of carbs, and I need to hit 16 grams of fat. What could I have? I really can't have a cheeseburger. I can't have a huge meal, but maybe I could have an empanada. And that's how you would factor it into your macros. And that's what'll keep you on track to like reaching these goals.
So you want me to tell you whenever I was not prepping and I still wanted this, what I would do? That would be my basically
your treat.
Not yes and no. It would be my pre-workout because it's sugar. So that
I'm gonna work this off.
So I would have that with my coffee, and that's what I'm telling you. I am disciplined enough to where I can only have half of the empanada. Yeah. So I'll have half of the empanada with my coffee. Even now, as a pregnant person, I'll have half of the empanada.
Yeah. And
then I'll have the other half. If I'm in the mood right now to have another piece, okay, I'll have it. But I try to save it for every morning so that I'm able to have one Monday through Friday or Saturday. So if I split them in half, instead of buying a bunch of empanadas and eating a bunch of them, I'll look and I'll be like, all right, so there's only 4 of them. You better split them up because you're not going to have a piece of what you love to do in the morning, which is your bread with your coffee. So I just kind of have mentally done that. So when I wasn't prepping, that's what I would do. I'd have half of that. I'd have my coffee or a bang before I'd go to the gym.
Bang. And unicorn flavor.
Yeah. Oh no, mine was the black? It's like blue.
Oh.
It's a blue one.
They had like a red, white, and blue. They had like a star.
That one was good.
Yeah,
that one's so
like
good.
It reminded me of like the Freedom drink. I don't know.
Oh my God. It was so good. That was one of my favorites actually. So I'd have that with whatever my pre-workout was for that morning, whether it was actually pre-workout or a bang or the coffee, whatever it was. And then I'd go to the gym because it was almost like an energy booster. I felt good. I felt like I still had a treat and I didn't feel bad about having it. Then after that, after I'd finish, I'd have a legit clean breakfast and everything after that was clean.
And the reason I think this conversation is so important is for a lot of the reasons you've mentioned as far as like self-esteem. You want to get to that level. You love being fit. You want to help other people. But also what we've learned through this COVID thing is that 78% of those people that were really, really sick or dying were obese.
You know, today, I've expressed that before on the podcast with Marissa. We've talked about this with several people. I'm not against the vaccine. For me, the vaccine's too new, and I need more people to be the lab rats before I try to do it. And I hate to say that. If you've already taken it, I'm sorry.
But
thank you for experimenting for me before I do it. I appreciate that. I'm just not ready. And call me a scaredy cat. Call me what you want, but I'm not. Rogan has talked about like, okay, but if you keep yourself healthy, you have your supplements, you're doing all the things, do you really need this vaccine, right? Is it something that you can kind of monitor yourself, make sure your immune system is good and so forth? I really feel like elderly should definitely be the ones to get it. I do feel that like Pete's parents get it, and I think it was a good idea just because they're a little bit older. It's not like they work out. They're not, If you have some kind of underlying condition, I really feel like this vaccine is definitely for you as well. But if you're a healthy person, you eat pretty well, you exercise, you take your vitamins, you do, you stay on top of it, you'll probably survive should you catch it, you would survive, right? Today I went to go take this test, and I had pulled down my mask because now I could eat and drink after this test. And so I pulled down my mask to have water. My lips were dry, man. And he comes in, and I guess I had forgotten to pick it back up. He goes, "Have you been vaccinated?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Okay, then pull up your mask." I said, "Okay." I was like, "I'm sorry, I just drank water." He goes, "Is there a reason why you're not vaccinated?" And I said, "Well, because I'm pregnant." And he's like, "Okay." I was like, "I don't know what that's going to do to my baby." I was like, "I'll consider it after my baby is born." You know what I'm saying? But I'm not considering it right now. No, not you.
What a jerk thing to say.
And he was like, here's what kind of like, he kept saying that he respects people that don't want to take it, right? And he was trying to tell me all the reasons why I should, and how now they found that the vaccine will actually, when the mom takes the vaccine, it'll send those antibodies that you develop to the baby through the placenta, and so the baby's actually born with antibodies for for COVID, right? So I was like, what? I was like, how'd y'all figure that out so quick? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you want me to believe you, right? That this is recommended for pregnant women.
How many pregnant women are getting the jab?
He said a lot, but obviously not enough. Although he gave me some kind of like
pamphlet
number, right? He gave me some, I forgot. It was like 1,000. I forgot how many 100,000 women have gotten it. But you've got a billboard, or like I took a picture of it. You've got this thing on your wall that says, "Would you like to be a study?" So if there's that many women getting it that are pregnant, make a difference for you and other expectant moms. The COVID-19 vaccine maternal study. What to expect? Sorry, I don't have my glasses. You will initially be randomly assigned by chance to receive the study vaccine or the placebo injection with non-active ingredient. You will receive at least 2 injections, 3 weeks apart. You will have at least 6 planned visits. Your time in the study will last about 7 to 10 months. Why would I risk my child? You want me to be your lab rat while I'm pregnant? I was dumbfounded.
Yeah, it's like what's the incentive for him to say that and push it, There has to be one. He's not just like, "Oh, this is so great, I'm going to recommend it to everybody."
Well, you know what he said? He's like, "What do I get out of it? I don't get nothing out of pushing vaccines."
I hope not, but that doesn't seem believable.
And I just said, "Oh my gosh." So I just called my midwife and I just said, "Did you get a chance to call, my doctor?" I was like, because one, he still thinks I'm birthing in a hospital. He asked me to register at the hospital. I was like, "I'm not sure what's up." I said, and 2, I said, he tried to push the vaccine on me today. I said, here's the best part. Why wouldn't you get the vaccine? Don't you want to walk around with no mask?
Oh, God.
That's the best thing about it.
Oh, that's the best thing about it.
I said,
that's infuriating, and I'm not pregnant.
I had to sit there, and I just was like this, Deep down inside, Rob, I was like, I went to a church conference this weekend.
Yeah, I went to a few.
I really was trying to be right. On my way to my doctor's appointment, I listened to Real Talk Kim. She talked about, being able to like get people who are just negative out of your life. So, you know what I'm saying? I listened, I got me my Jesus in the morning. I was going just ready just to, be positive in there because I'm getting this test done. You know what I'm saying? You just never know what can happen. I mean, I take care of myself, but and so then when he gives me that, I'm just looking at him, and I know I must have looked like I'm not buying it because he just kept pushing like all the reasons why, and I text my midwife and I said, he tried to push the vaccine on me. I was like, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not right now. And like I said, I'm not saying I would never get the vaccine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that right now it's too new for me. I know that they're finding safer and safer things about it, which is great. Continue to please find safer and safer things about it. And then once I feel like, oh, y'all got it figured out, then that's probably when I will go ahead and take it. Because what he's saying is there's so many variants coming from like India and I think South Africa, he said, or something like that. He's like, and you may be able to fight the current thing, but whatever is coming, your body may not be able to fight it regardless of how healthy you are. Because I said, well, what about the health? People who are healthy, why should they get it? And so then it was like, one of those things. And so I was just kind of like, I was kind of upset. Mm-hmm. I was kind of upset. And I just kind of told Pete, I was like, can you believe what he told me today? I was like, I was just kind of annoyed. And I was just like, and in my head, I was like, okay, do I tell him like, first of all, I wanted to say, oh, no. See, I have freedoms, boo-boo. I don't need a vaccine to have freedom. I live in America. I'm not sure if you know what country you live in, but I live in America. So you're not going to dangle this thing over me and tell me I'll wear a mask forever then. I don't care. You're not going to push me to do something I don't want to do when it's my right. Why is it that my body, my choice doesn't count right now? You know what I'm saying? But it counts for everything else. Like I said, I respect anyone who gets it. It is your choice, just like it's my choice why I'm not ready to get it yet. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, I was kind of upset. I kind of left there feeling like, I told Peter, I was like, I don't know that he's going to be my doctor after this.
What'd your midwife say?
My midwife said I don't have to see him for prenatals anymore. We're pretty much far along now to where, so I get an ultrasound in 2 weeks. She said after that ultrasound, like, don't go see him anymore because there's no need.
Is this your primary?
Mm-hmm. No. It's my, I guess my OBGYN. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, she just said like, you don't need to see him anymore. I mean, I do your prenatals anyway. She's like, we were only doing this for your fibroids. She's like, and after this one, ultrasound, we'll know. That's all we need. So that'll pretty much determine, which way the baby's coming and if there's anything else. Because then he's like, oh, don't forget to register for the hospital. And I was like,
did you tell him?
The paper only says in care of, and then it has my midwife's name. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like so confused. I just felt like that was my midwife's job. So I just texted her. I said, hey, I'm not sure if you remember to call him. Did you forget to call him yesterday? I said, because I remember I was going. She goes, I called him. She goes, and then he called me back 2 times thinking I was someone else about another client. And I said, okay, well.
That explains it all.
This might be the time, and the only reason I didn't go to my original doctor that I had was because he's over there he's the doctor I used when I used to live with my mom. It's in Cyprus. I'm not driving all the way to Cyprus.
Oof.
So
at this point, you're like, maybe I should.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go another route. I just don't like to be pushed like that.
Yeah.
And his thing was just like, I'm a doctor. Why would I ever recommend anything? I'm like, because doctors are humans and y'all make mistakes. I was like, I wanted to be a smart ass so bad. It was at the tip of my tongue, but it was almost like when you want to be respectful at the same time. And I'm like, I'm not going to have to see you anymore. So I'm just going to leave you alone.
You
want
to be quick. Like, y'all practice medicine. You ain't practicing on me.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, whatever.
Damn.
Speaking of that conference though, I really wanted to talk about this because, since last week we talked a little bit about like motherhood and stuff. And so one of the, I guess, workshops that we went to this weekend, and I know a lot of people feel like, why is your church talking about this? Separation. What are the comments? Separation of church and state. But that's not even what separation of church and state means, but it's okay. I'm not going to get into that subject with people either. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, a lot of people feel a certain way about it, but I'm glad that our church talks about it. I think if you didn't know about certain things, it opens your eyes, and then you can make your own decision, your own critical thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I like that about it. And one of the workshops that we went to, and I saved this paper because it was understanding the dangers of screen obsessed culture, which is our kids. You know what I'm saying? They love their screens. But it says, check this out. It says 30% of all data transferred across the internet is porn.
How much?
30%.
Oh, bro, that's higher than that.
Okay. And then according to 2018, there was a study. An estimated 91.5% of men and 60.2% of women consume pornography. How crazy is that? And they've concluded that porn is as addictive as crack cocaine.
I believe it.
How crazy is that? 71% of teens hide online behavior from their parents, which I can totally see. I don't think Pete's ever asked for Mickey's phone. Like, let me see what you're doing on your phone. Mm-hmm. I don't know if her mom does, but I know here, I've never seen him ask for it. 39% of teens have sent a nude image of themselves, and almost 50% have received one. That's pretty damn high.
That's super high.
Okay. Check this out. The first exposure to pornography among men is between 8 and 11 years old. So little boys. And then 59% of teens have been cyberbullied.
Yeah,
which
I can see that.
It's crazy. All these statistics that we were talking about, I was just like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? I was like, God. And then it says, pornography hurts adults, children, couples, families, and society. Among adolescents, pornography hinders the development of healthy sexuality, and among adults, it distorts sexual attitudes and social realities. In families, pornography use leads to marital satisfaction. I think
pornography use leads
to... Yeah, I got it now. Yeah. Leads to marital satisfaction, infidelity, separation, and divorce. I'm going to beg to differ on some of that.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk to your sex expert about it at the live podcast.
Well, because I feel like pornography can be just used to stimulate, like before. Unless you're addicted to it, then I can see where that could cause issues, right? Or expectations, meaning like maybe your husband expects for you to do what the girl in the porn is doing and you're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? I can see that. But I think if you have a healthy relationship...
Yeah, I understand. I don't know. That's given the common folk too much credit, because a lot of people have addictive personalities and don't know how to... they can't disassociate the two, like this virtual image you're watching and what you have going on in real life. Yeah,
and that's what's crazy, because it says that almost half of 18 to 34-year-olds, which I think that age is pretty high, 34, said their social media feeds make them feel unattractive.
Super insecure. I mean, it's a part of social media, a lot of insecurities.
I was telling Pete, though, I wonder if I would have been born in... I guess more your era, because you're the 34 age, right? How old are you?
31.
31. Okay, so you're within that. Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe I could see that because I know what reality is. Like I grew up without a phone. You know what I'm saying? I've grown up through the pager era. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up through. I've seen the I've seen the pagers. I've seen the internet come about. I've seen the cell phones come about. Granted, I didn't have the really big Zach Morris phone. You know what I'm saying? But I came a little bit further down. But I've seen every kind of like little generation like that. It's even maybe for somebody even older than me. Excuse me. May feel like, oh, well, I saw even more than that, right? But there's no one that I follow that I feel like, man, that made me feel like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an inner thing. That's a total inner thing.
I don't know that you can blame it so much on social media. That's where my debate is. But I'm also not a psychologist. I'm not a scientist. I don't sit there and, research these things, right? So I just don't feel like I don't know that you can blame that on social media. I think a little bit has to do with, I think some parents can take fault that maybe you're not giving your child the attention. You're not reminding your child of how beautiful or amazing or smart they are. Look how little Penny is this morning. Because I was telling you how I try to have school time with her. You know what I'm saying? I was telling when we don't have Luisa, right? And so I always say to play escuelitas? Do you want to play schools, right? Teachers or whatever. And today she was saying that she wanted to build blocks. And I said, fine. And so I was like, let me go get it. I'm going to go find it. Okay. I'm going to go look for it. And so I come back with the bag and she goes, oh, you're smart. Why does she know that word? Because when she does something, I don't say good job. I will say the word good job, but I'll say, oh, you're very smart. You understood that. I'll tell her in Spanish, or great job. Do you understand why blah, 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 blah? And then I'll be like, you're very smart. And so I constantly tell her, I'll ask her who's the most beautiful girl in the world. And she'll say Valentina Herrera. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, or sometimes when she's trying to be honest, she's like, mommy, So I think sometimes we as parents are part of the reason why maybe our kids may be a little bit insecure or a little bit feeling like they're not the same as their peers, Sometimes they can be financial reasons, maybe your kid's friend wears a name brand jeans and you're having to buy your child,
Feelers.
Whatever it is. Yeah, exactly.
Even though they're cool now.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you're having to go to Goodwill or something, which I love going to Goodwill. So I don't find nothing wrong with it. So I don't even want to compare those two. But you know what I mean? Like,
I think everything you just said hits on a really important point, is that you can always think of whatever is going on and then think back to it starts in the home.
Yeah.
It starts in the home.
I hate to say that, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of it, one of the things he said was, there is no privacy. And I hate that he said that, because it reminded me of my mom when she used to say, the day that you pay a bill in this house is the day that you have an opinion. I understand her now. Because now I'm a parent and now I need to know and now I want to know and what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't have control of Mickey because she's not technically mine. You know what I'm saying? So there's only so much, interfering that as a step parent you can do. You just kind of sometimes have to keep your mouth closed, right? But I know that as far as I'm concerned, when my child gets a cell phone, if that's even going to be a thing when she's older.
They might just read minds at that point.
I don't even know what they'll be doing when she's old enough to use technology like that, I'm going to question it because I want to know what you're looking at, who you're talking to, what kind of things you're getting. And not that I'm invading their privacy, but I feel like we should kind of know, like...
Well, just think about this. So you're at the cutoff where, like you said, you went to school with no social media. Mm-hmm. You had pagers, basically not the internet for most of your young life, right? Mm-hmm. Like a high-speed internet, right? I'm at the age... What stat was that you read? The 1834? What was that for? Was that porn? Was it?
No, that was for social media feeds make them feel unattractive.
Right. So exactly when I was 18, the iPhone came out when I was 18.
Mm-hmm. In 2007?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I guess, yeah, I had the second one. So it was, I graduated 2008. In 2007, the year before, I saw friends started getting it. And I was able to get one the year after. So from that, and that phone alone changed the entire world.
Yeah.
The iPhone,
Penny
Steve Jobs.
Has it.
Oh, that's dope. So Steve Jobs changed the entire world. So 18, and I'll be 32 this year. I grew up in the creation of MySpace, or Facebook in particular, that really blew up, what we still use, Instagram, Vine, all these different apps. And if you didn't have some kind of security within how you feel as a person going to school and having your little part-time job or whatever, I could see how that would be really, hard on you. But being alongside your friends and your schoolmates and your coworkers and seeing how it's all working together, it's supposed to, in my opinion, build that thick skin for what you should expect from people that you don't know, that are just keyboard warriors that you might find across the world or whatever. And it's a really bizarre thing to think about, but I don't know. It's a confusing thing for young, our parents had no idea what we were going to be consuming because they'd never seen it before. We, though, know exactly what's on the internet. And now as our kids are growing up, we're much more cautious because we understand the dark web and all the craziness that is in the internet.
And when I had a cell phone, I didn't get it till I was a senior, I believe. That's how old I was.
Senior
I was
in
high school. So that was 2000.
You're
so
talking like
older,
Nokia
I had a
Motorola.
what do you call it? The one.
The Nextel?
Nextel. I'm
you were chirping people?
Yeah, that was my phone. I never wanted to get rid of that one either. I think I still have that one too.
Yeah,
I love collecting those little phones.
Dude. I thought that was so cool.
So, but the thing is, let me tell you, my mom wouldn't pay for it. So you either A, you had a job to pay for your cell phone line, or B, you did chores around the house, or I went to go help her at the shop. And then she'd pay my cell phone bill.
So what'd you do?
If I didn't have money, both.
Oh.
So if you didn't have money to pay your cell phone bill, it looks like your phone's going to get disconnected, and all your friends are going to know that you couldn't pay your cell phone bill. So for me, she got me the phone as my birthday gift. But we're talking about I was 18 years old now. So I mean,
so you'd already been driving and doing stuff. How did y'all communicate?
You went to a payphone.
Oh yeah. Hey bro.
Oh my God.
Hey bro. Relax, all right.
My mom had a cell phone, but I didn't. You know, so if I needed to get a hold of her, it was either the cell phone or, you know what I'm saying, or call her at work.
I don't want to distract you, but I remember reading a comment where it's like, I like watching the YouTube videos for Marisole's eye rolls.
Who said that? That's hilarious.
It might have been on the recent one because they were like, because I think I said something about usually weirdos comment on videos and they're like, not a weirdo. I like watching for Marisole's eye rolls.
Oh my God. If my Aunt Lily heard that, she'd laugh because she used to always be like, oh, she's really mad. She only rolled one eye, guys. And then it made me more mad. And she's like, oh, it's happening again, y'all. So she'd always tease me about it. But my mom used to say, así te vas a quedar, eh? Because I used to when I'd roll my eyes at her,
Same.
she'd be like, así te vas a quedar.
Así te vas a quedar.
Check this out, though. Somebody tweeted this, which went viral, and it said, it baffles me that we have all the information online to learn anything for free, but you still have to pay $30,000 per year just to hear some professor explain everything so poorly that you end up learning it all from the internet anyways.
Yeah. I mean,
is that not crazy?
You know, I know people would want to argue that, like, well, what are the sources of what you're learning? Like, hey, I understand that, but what are the sources of what the teacher's, teaching you, and where is it coming from? Like, who's telling them what to teach you and how to teach it?
There was a teacher in the class, in the workshop, and she said that one of the things that she has no control and can't control is the amount of cheating that happens now because of smartphones. Which I can see. I mean, everything's on Google if you pretty much think about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, anything. These were some interesting things that I put on my thing because I just couldn't believe this. So check this out. The average American spends, this is 5.4 hours a day on their cell phone, which I easily.
Yeah, I spend double that.
Yeah. Mine the other day was 7
hours a day?
Yes. And it was anytime that I start to do Planoly, I'm on it for so long as I'm trying to search for the picture. So I'm on there a lot. And Pete says, I said, ooh, when he was reading this, the guy that was teaching the class. And he goes, well, Marisol would argue because all she does is plan and research on her phone. She's like, it's like all the time. I am obsessed with like looking up stuff and how am I going to figure this out and
my Safari
read this.
tab has like 50 tabs open because I can't close them.
I just like feel like maybe I should get on my laptop from now on to actually do those things instead of like I'll get an idea and it's like boom, okay, Pinterest here, there. Let me go look here. Let me look up this hashtag. Let me see what they're doing with this on social media. You know what I'm saying? And so Pete's like, well, you would debate that. And I was like, well, I'm sure I can't spend too many hours just going through scrolling through the feed, if that makes sense. After a while, I'm just like, okay, this is so repetitive. Like I'm over it, My thing really is okay, if I know that I have a specific idea in my head, I'm on Pinterest for the longest time. And then I'm on Google. And then I'm like on like a magazine website. And then I'm like, okay, let me go look here and let me go see how they did this. Or
I think the hard part is not getting sidetracked with the related suggestions.
Yes, exactly. And those happen big time. Even Pinterest does that. Because, I use it a lot. And so, so that's where I think like I have this idea for my maternity photo shoot that I want, but there's not enough people haven't done it that way. And I don't want to say it because it's when I do it. And so I'll go down little rabbit holes. So then I'll start looking at like high fashion and then I'll see how they did it and see if there's any way that I can do it. That's what I've been doing, right? How I can do it in a pregnancy version. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's how my brain works. Pete will say, we'll have an idea. And then it's like, once he's like, can you let me finish the idea first before you immediately just kind of go zoom? And I just like zone in. I don't know why my brain works like that, but it does. And it's just, so I'm like, yeah, 5.4 hours. That's about right.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even deny that. And then check this out. We check our smartphones about 81,500 times each year, or once every 4.3 minutes.
Yeah, I remember reading that or having somebody tell me that stat a while back about how many times a day, and it was in the hundreds. It's in the times that you'll just pick up your phone, look at your screen.
Well, yeah, because the average person touches their phone 2,617 times per day.
Oh yeah, it totally makes sense.
2,000. When I read that, I was like, what? 2,000 times a day? Your entire day is on your phone, pretty much.
And that's not counting your Apple Watch, because sometimes you have the notifications go to the watch.
Exactly. Like when Dawn texts me, I wrote her back. I was like, I don't even know how I missed your
Dude, we're all
text.
guilty of that, because we'll see the notification and then it takes it away from our phone.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well.
And I was working out when she texted, because I looked at the time that it came in. I was like, I was at the gym. But I know that if my music is playing and I have the music and the little guy running, like it doesn't like give me notifications. It's really weird. I don't know if maybe I've turned it off on here. I don't really know why. And so then when she said that, I was like, why didn't I get that message? I was like really trying to figure out why I didn't get it. And also check this out. A study has shown that as the mobile phone use increases, okay, so does anxiety.
Yeah.
So this little workshop was quite interesting. They also talked about transgender, and everything they talked about, I'm going to get the book, because I really would like to read the book that she talked about. But it's crazy, because you know how my debate for the longest, when I would tell Pete, I'm like, it amazes me that there's so many women out there who fight for all these female rights, right? But we're so quick to accept a man who wants to transition to a female, but yet we've just been fighting for all these things. And now you're allowing a man to be a part of something that so many women have tried to fight for. You know what I'm saying? And she kind of touched on it. And I was just like, man, if I could just be like, yep, that's right. I feel the same. Yep. I wanted to be like, yep,
hallelujah.
Sure. Exactly. Because so she actually said that she's working with she called them, damn, I didn't bring my notes. I think she said that, what did she call them? Something feminist, which is a new word, which I wanted to look up. I wrote it down for that reason, because I wanted to read about it. Damn, I left that paper inside.
But it was on the same subject? Oh.
It was on the same subject. So basically, these are actually feminists who find it okay for you to, you know what I'm saying? That's fine if you wanted to transgender, right? But you're not going to be a part of this feminist movement because you're not a female. Like, we don't care how you put it, you know what I'm saying? And then it went even further than that, Rob. It went even further to where, okay, so you want to be a male, right? But let's say that you were to go into the emergency room because something went wrong. That doctor still has to know what your original sex was, because they take care of us differently. So if, like, you know, the signs of a woman having a heart attack is usually, what is it, their right side or the left side? One of the sides gets numb first. I should know that. I forget which one it is. But anyway, so those are signs, right? So should you go in as a transgender male, right, and you all of a sudden have these symptoms, well, now the doctor's probably confused if you've yet to tell him that you were at one point a female. So it goes further than just how you feel. And then it was like, well, how do you debate this, right? How do you find the positive side into helping someone? There's a lady that wrote a book. Check this out, which I want to read that book too. Transgender Male. Okay. Which I thought about Valentine, because you know how he said he felt the Holy Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whenever he went to that church conference, and that was his sign to him, where it was like God was telling him that he's fine, right? But this person said that when they accepted God as a male, that they felt like that they were going to be the most God-loving man out there, or something like that. I forgot her phrase, but basically it was a man thing. And then as she went through her journey into accepting God as her savior, reading the Bible, understanding the Bible, and I know this is like, why is she going biblical on it? Well, the conference was at a church, so they put, you know, the Bible is incorporated. Yeah, it's incorporated in there. And so she said basically, like, she realized that she couldn't be a godly man. That's what it was, that she was going to be a godly man. She realized that she couldn't be walk with God as a transgender male, that she had to learn to accept her body, who she was, because God gave her that body, and she needed to be a godly woman. So she went back to being a female. So I have both those books written down, which I want to read, and I can't wait to like legit read that, because
Let me throw some phrases out there, see if these ring a bell. Was it trans inclusive? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then there's here's some other ones that, I mean, they just populated along with it. Trans feminism.
And trans feminism is one too. She talked about that too.
Trans exclusionary, which is a TERF, known as TERFs. Trans exclusionary radical feminist groups are working with, conservatives to push their anti-trans agenda. Okay, way to go, Vox. That's what you know what you're reading when you're reading from Vox. Okay, so
there's some women out there who are feminists who don't agree with the transgender movement.
Sure.
And I don't want to call it a movement, I guess, whatever you want. I don't really know the proper name for it, but I don't know why my interest in it, Rob. I really don't know why I've really have become obsessed with understanding it, understanding why someone transitions, right? Because she went as far back as, you know, transitioning wasn't a thing back then. It was more of like, well, you were either like a gay man or a lesbian woman type thing, you know. And this dysmorphia, because it's what she called it, it's a mental dysmorphia.
This is the speaker at the...
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's, you know, it can be as a, sometimes it's the parents' fault, or it's like almost like the way you said about Brooklyn, how sometimes she'll grab a boy's toy and it's okay. Like, you're not gonna be like, no, you can't play with that. That's a boy's toy only. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, yeah, she wants to play with a boy's toy. That doesn't mean that she wants to be a boy now. You know what I'm saying? And that sometimes parents want to push it so bad to where like, well, that's odd. She's playing with that boy toy all the time. She really likes baseball. Wonder why she really likes baseball. Well, I don't know. Maybe because she always goes with her dad to baseball games. You know, so those were the kind of things that she was talking about. And it just made it really interesting, and it just made me want to know more about it and understand it. Because did you see that thing? Did Pete send it to you about the lady that's making those crochet?
Yes.
Fake penises with little balls on it for you to stick in little girls' panties.
Okay, no. Oh, no, it didn't send me that.
Oh my God. I just said, just stop already.
What?
You know? Like,
see, and at the fear of this ever resurfacing in a bad light for me, just to say that I like humans, I like understanding people,
same.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When I hear stuff like that, or some of the stuff we've been talking about for the last 15 or so minutes, it always makes me think that people they're longing for something, you know, and however they find it is how they find it. Mm-hmm. So who am I to say that, like, you know, he felt the Holy Spirit and it's what it told you to do, or this is what it didn't tell you to do. Like, that person was longing for something, and they would have almost found any excuse to go forth with whatever they already wanted. So was it God? Was it just your soul desire to do it that made you do it? I don't know.
It's crazy. So it's a knitted penis for extremely small girls to wear in their pants if their parents believe them to be transgender. It is intended for girls so young they demonstrate the product in a diaper. So it's a little...
I see.
penis.
Okay.
It's got little balls on it, and it's a knitted penis for you to put in your child's as small as. I mean, that's a little underwear. So what? A toddler. I don't know that my toddler knows that anything yet.
No.
I buy her whatever she wants to play with. I don't buy her based on, no, that's a boy toy. She's got a lawnmower outside, for heaven's sake. You know what I'm saying? That blows bubbles.
Is it the bubble one? Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, like, so what am I supposed to tell her? No, and it's not a pink. I mean,
it's like green and yellow or something.
Actually, hers is red and blue, I think. And so, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so that's another thing she says, like, parents now seem like to be pressured to follow whatever agenda the world's pushing you.
Dumb parents.
Because, you know, you see that your child is doing this. So you must be wanting, you know, excuse me, your child must want that. I wanted to have this conversation with when Marissa was here, just because I wanted to see what she thought about it.
Sure, we can always revisit
so we can bring it back. But I just really thought this was interesting, even about the screens, the whole transgender thing. I want to get the book. I didn't bring that paper in here, so maybe when we do the next podcast, I'll tell you guys in case anybody else is interested in reading the book. Just keep in mind, she does have some biblical stuff in there because she is, she calls herself a conservative Christian woman, but she is a scientist. So, you know what I'm saying? These were legit people, man. Like, they've been doing their damn research for some hot minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, made me want to go back to school. I
felt like I was there. Chingo was sending so much fire knowledge from the slideshow. So much information.
I mean, I was just like writing. I was like, dang, I should have brought my laptop instead, because I obviously can type faster than I can write. You know what I'm saying? And I saw some people there with their laptop, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? I was like, I should have brought my laptop. I didn't think it was going to be this information, like, just so informative. It was just so much information. And I was really impressed. Listen, I've gone to that church before. This is my second time going to Second Baptist. I used to go to the one in Katy when I was younger. My aunt and uncles, and they were going there. And I kind of felt a certain kind of way about it because it was an English church, and I was so used to growing up in a Spanish church. I was like, man, I'm not going to understand it. I'm like, I don't know about this, you know? Well, then when I started, my business was out of the deaf church. I just started going there instead on Sundays. And I just kind of was like, well, you know, I like it here anyway, you know? And then, like I said, when Penny was like turning a year old, I remember I told Pete, I was like, I know that you're not like religious and you didn't grow up like religious the way I did. I'm like, but I want my child to know there's someone greater than us. You know what I'm saying? And someone out there did something, and, you know, they created us humans. And, you know, whether later on she decides like, hey, this is not what it's like, I don't know the verse in English, but in Spanish is, instruye el niño en su carrera y aun cuando fuere viejo no se apartará de ella. And it's very true, because my mom guided me, right? I left the church for years, right, after my parents divorced. I didn't want to know nothing about it. Now, I couldn't go back to the Pentecostal church, right? I couldn't that. But I never forgot that there was a God, and I never forgot that there was someone out there higher than me, you know what I'm saying, that still watches my back, that is still there when I need them. And you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, I want her to know that. So going back to church, when we went back, I was like, oh my gosh, it's really weird going to church with my husband. I never really thought that this was going to be something that I did. Like, you go to church with your husband. Like, I felt like it was all over my mom and my dad, and, you know, we're us going to church together. So it was kind of like, oh my God, this is kind of interesting. And so I remember the first day I just kind of asked Pete, like, so what'd you think of it? He's like, oh, it's cool. And then as time went, and you realize like the things that they talk about, and they don't be trying to sugarcoat anything. And, you know, they be,
he's all in.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, that's my church. He's like, that is my church. We go there. Like, he is all about Second Baptist. And it makes me feel good, because when you grow up in a religion, I mean, I guess, I don't know if you can kind of relate, trying to tell somebody else or explain it to somebody else, you're kind of like, okay, how am I going to explain this to him? He's going to laugh about it. But I didn't know that he felt a certain kind of way about Catholic Church. I didn't know I thought maybe because he felt like that about the Catholic Church, that he felt like that about everything, like all religions. I guess that was the impression I got, not knowing that he was open-minded to yeah, I'll go to church, whatever you want to try. You know what I'm saying? So I was glad that he was open-minded. How did I know that he was going to love it there so much? You know what I'm saying? That crazy.
Lucky.
I really did, because it could have been, and because I was prepared for him not to be coming to church with me, because I said that to him. I am okay if you do not want to come to church with me and Penny. I specifically told him that. I said, because I don't want to be somebody to push church on anybody.
Yeah.
I want you to feel it in your heart to want to go. And, you know, I don't want to force anybody to go do something they don't want to do, regardless if you're my husband, you know, like, I just don't want to. So I just kind of felt like I was happy when he went. And it's just amazing that I went back to this church. I said, listen, I'm not driving all the way to the one in Katy. I said, but there's one on the one that we go to now, which is Woodway. And I said, so let's go to that one and try it out. And then I told you, coincidentally, my friend Iris had reached out to me about going to the play place to that church. And during that time, I had just told Pete I want to go back to church. So I was like, this is really weird that I haven't talked to this girl since I graduated high school. She's going to the church that I had kind of considered, because I had told Pete I wanted to go back to church. She reached out to me and said, I follow you on social media. I see that you go to these play places. My church just opened one. It's free to the public. You should bring your toddler here. And I was like, what church do you go to? And when I remember her, I know how religious she was. I was like, she's trying to push me on her church, you know, kind of thing. I'm like, hold on, I want to go at my own pace. Wasn't it weird though?
You know what that was? That was the Matrix at work.
Yeah, or God just trying to call me.
Hey, maybe.
I'm just saying.
I'm looking forward to the Matrix 4 in December. I don't know what they're going to come out with this year. It's been so long since I made a Matrix movie, but...
What else can they come out with? Because Westworld is so freaky to me.
Yes!
I closed my eyes last night to go to bed, and I think like my brain shook or something, and I feel like it went zzz, like that. And then I was like, I legit opened my eyes and I said, hell no, hell no, Westworld, you are not going to mess with me. I went to go pee. I kid you not.
Touch the walls, everything's good.
I just like looked at my watch. I picked up my watch and I'm like looking at it. I looked at my phone. I looked at Pete and I was just like, I'm just gonna pray, because this is.
So are you grasping with the show, or like with what's going on in the show right now?
Yeah, and I don't want to get into it because I got to end it here soon because Pete's got to go pick up Mickey. But I texted you this a long time ago, because we would drive out to anywhere. If we went to go visit my aunt in Florida, we drive. So we're going through Louisiana, Mississippi, all these states, right? And you're traveling different hours of the day and nights, and so you're just kind of, I'm looking and I'm just like, wow, so there's someone else, another kid like me, driving maybe the same way or the opposite way. They do the same thing. It's like, is that possible? Nah, that can't be possible. Somebody else do it. And so watching this, it was like, wait a minute. I've had these thoughts before. Like, what if somebody is controlling me? What if I am a game? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if somebody is doing this for me? Like, you know, and then it's just kind of like, what? And I'm like watching this thing. I do get kind of confused a little bit, because it does get a little too like, what? Uh-huh. Like the girl having sex with one of the robot or whatever. I don't even know what they are. What are those things? Robots?
Bro, it'll open up some more. Like you'll understand it a little bit better.
What they are? Okay.
Yeah.
And she, like, the other lady that works there is knocking, and they're like having sex, and she's like, should I come back? She's like, no. She just pauses the guy and gets dressed, and I'm just like, oh. That is going to happen pretty soon. That's going to happen. I can see that happening. I can see that happening pretty soon.
And with the way virtual reality and augmented reality are really taking over.
It's funny because that one I saw, like this whole like simulation thing, I still like, I'm kind of hesitant about it, right? But something like that, I do feel it's coming just because of the fact that there's those dolls that men can have, you know, that women can have, you know, which mimic supposedly, you know, a real female, a real male and sensation, and you can have sex with them and so forth. I don't know if you've seen those documentaries before.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
And so the fact that she paused him and I was like, oh, that one if it happens even within the next 2 years, it wouldn't surprise me. No, that does not surprise me. This world thing though, that one's the one that's freaky because I've thought that before.
That's crazy.
I've thought that before. And we're talking about, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it makes you, because you're just like looking at the sky, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, somebody else thinking, like listening to this song too as they're driving, like, is that possible? Nah, that can't be possible. You're so weird, Mariswole. Why do you think like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it makes you think. And then it's like, I'm watching this. I'm sure if you're a Westworld watcher or if you've watched it before, then I guess you know.
You get it.
You get it. But if you're not, and if it's not your thing, you know, that too, it might not be your thing. Because for me, I really don't like things like that. I'll be honest with you. But it's very interesting
too.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
How many seasons are there?
3, I believe.
And does it end with like?
It ends.
But is the third season like end good to where you're like you're not curious? Because I hate a lot of series like that.
It ends like with the way it ended. You're not mad at it, but also you could see how it could come back and keep going.
Okay. Just like what do you call it?
Ozark.
What's up with that one?
The season 4 coming out this year. It's supposed to come out this year.
It was supposed to come out in March.
Yeah.
What happened with the? I guess no filming.
The COVID stuff.
I'm waiting for that one. That's my jam.
I know.
Anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening. Marissa will be back on this Friday. So, but I just thought this was interesting. I hope you guys found it interesting. Look it up. I'm not trying to push nothing on nobody, guys. They're just things that interest me, and I like to talk about them. And I'm
good
sure
topics of conversation.
Yeah, and I think there's some people out there who may feel me and agree with what I'm talking about, and are curious if not. But stay tuned, guys. This Patreon thing might happen, and nutrition been happening, and these workout videos may happen again just because I really miss it. I never thought I could say I really miss training people. Like I miss waking up and getting ready to go work out like with people.
Yeah.
You know,
and you can make it a community the way Nike made the Nike Run Club.
Yeah.
And they have the whole community.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was probably my favorite thing about Zumba, and I'll end it with this, was my heavier set ladies would come in probably their husband's t-shirts and like some kind of legging. And as they started to drop weight, their clothes would change to where it was cuter, like workout outfits. And I would just, because you're facing the mirror so you can see everybody behind you as they're following what you're doing. And when they would come in and I'd see them in their new workout gear, it was like this crazy satisfaction of like, yes, queen, I see you, boo boo. You're getting it. You're feeling better about yourself. You're not wearing your husband's t-shirts anymore to work out. You know what I'm saying? You're feeling good about yourself. Your shirts are tighter because you're losing weight. It was like the most, and it's weird. Like I miss that high. Like I miss the high of watching other women just start feeling good about themselves. It was just like, well, I know I did something good today. You know what I'm saying? She came in different, or she fixed her hair. She'd come in looking like I look today, right? And then all of a sudden she'd come in looking all cute. Her tennis shoes matched her outfit. She had a new little, they'd have a new little workout bag. I'm like, okay, I see you. You know what I'm saying? So Things like that. It's just like, I'm like, I want that again. And because I am a female community, I want it again and I miss it. So I think since I'm done with having children, I will now make the effort to legit make that come back for myself, even if it means, just teaching, even if it's just personal training, even if I don't get back to teaching Zumba, just even personal training was fun to me, which I love more, but so anyway, thank you guys for listening. I will tell you guys what books those are for next week. So that way, if you guys want to check them out, you can have those. And don't forget, we may have a drop today. The Échale Ganas, because I know that we're all going through something. So Échale Ganas. See y'all Friday.